Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Minis and Muscles. We are back. We are live. We are ready. Hopefully we're ready. Welcome to the place where the brawn meets the brush. It is Friday. Happy Friday, everybody. What's going on? How was your week? It's been a little while, right? It's been a little while since we last sat and chatted, actually properly live. Previously, it was me just jabbering on to myself and making a recording and setting it off for a timer so it would appear to be me live on Friday, but actually it wasn't. It was all a hoax. It was me pre-recorded because I had been away. Not because I've been jet-setting around the world, enjoying the lap of luxury. Actually, it was for work, so it's basically 3 weeks worth of travel. Not so great. It's always nice to go and do work, sometimes, but this was more sort of get in, get the job done, get out again. So yes, it was good. I'm still here, I'm still going, and we are back. It's Friday. Tantastic? No, sir. Even if I'm on holiday. So welcome, Bearded Veteran, to the chat. Great to have you here. Hi, Aimzo. So Bearded Veteran is saying, how was your holiday? Thought you'd be all tantastic. So ultimately, even if I go on holiday, right, I do not tan. I don't go, well, I lie. I do tan. So like my arms tan, but I don't take my top off. I don't walk around in a vest like this. It's actually taken quite a lot for me to do a channel like this and actually sit here in a vest. So it took some persuading. Because I was like, oh no, people don't want to see that. It's just absolutely ridiculous. But no, I don't go out. I don't sit on a tan bed. I don't sit under the sun all day long. That is not my vibe at all. So yeah, I purely go and see things and do stuff. I'm the sort of guy that gets bored within 5 minutes of being on the beach and I want to run off and go and do something else. So apologies there, Bearded Veteran. No tan for me. No tan for me at all. So, let's wait for a few more people to join and hopefully we'll get a few more people on. But it's good to have 2 of you so far. Huzzah! We're getting there. But thank you, as always, for joining me. Much appreciated, even if you're watching live or if you're catching up via the YouTube. I appreciate you no matter where your view comes from. Just remember, small channels like this, I don't even get paid for YouTube because I don't have enough people watching. I do it for fun. I do it for fun, and I do it to try and bring like a little bit of joy to people's Fridays, to try and be not necessarily educational, but to try and pass on my tips and tricks in terms of miniature painting. We talk a lot of things about geek, and hopefully people enjoy it, right? It's a bit of a chill thing to do on a Friday, especially when the weather is like this. So I've been away for those 3 weeks, right? And it was, I think, 40-something degrees one day, where one of the places I was in the US. It was hideously hot. Then I come back here, and it's like, what is it, like, I don't know, 15 degrees and torrential downpour? What's going on? So you're saying, that's interesting, Bearded Veteran, is saying, that's interesting. Is the vest thing down to confidence or just a general preference? Bit of both, I think, to be fair with you. So just in case you missed it and you've just joined, Bearded Veteran said earlier in the chat about how it was a holiday, thought it'd be all fantastic. I said no, don't really like tanning. I'm not this kind of guy to walk around in a vest unless I'm going to the gym and I'm walking to the gym, perhaps. Is it a confidence thing or a preference? Partially confidence. I think for many years before I got into fitness, I was very self-conscious of my body. And I think most people generally are, right? So most people are generally self-confident. What's the word? Not confident. What's the other one? Self-aware or whatever of their body, and they're a little bit sort of unsure of whether to show this, that, or whatever. So most people are like that. Most normal people are generally quite aware of what they're showing and putting on show. So that sort of stayed with me, even though as I've got better and fitter throughout my life, actually it's kind of stayed with me. So part confidence, self-conscious, that's the bloody word. See, you're getting to know me. I forget words all day long. I seriously believe, and I say this all the time to my friends and stuff, I think I've got early dementia because I forget things all the time. Like words is the worst. Like words will just fall from my head and I'll be stuck in a sentence. So yes, so self-confidence is part of it. General preference, yeah, I'm not... I kind of like a little bit of standards. Don't get me wrong, I'm not a shirt and tie guy. Not that there's nothing wrong with a shirt and tie. I quite like a shirt and tie. But I think it's a bit... Is it a bit uncouth to sort of walk around in a vest all day? Like, even if you've got the most banging body ever, you know, you're shredded, you're ripped, whether you're male or female, or any other. So if you're, you know, super ripped, is it appropriate to walk around in a vest all day and, like, do that? I just don't think it necessarily is. So, you know, you're not going to catch me doing my shopping in a blooming gym vest. Not in a million years. Not at all. So yeah, that kind of explains that. But anyway, for those of you that are here with me, it's Friday, it's Minis and Muscles. We are back, we are live. Brief sort of catch up of where we were in the pre-recorded one. So that was more showing you guys the Grombrindle case that we made. So we made the Grombrindle case. We put our wonderful miniature that we all painted together. We placed him in the case and he looks awesome. I should actually have had him over here so I can just put him back on the camera again because he's that cool. But that was very, very smart. Love that case. So we did that last week and we were doing the continuation of our main dragon. Here he is here. So this is our main dragon at the moment. That's what he looks like. And he's on his rock. So today we'll sort of continue the dragon, the ghost dragon. We'll continue doing some more highlights because that is really key. Because at the moment, if we bring him up to the screen, we've got a lot of highlights here, or one colour of the highlights anyway. But if we spin him around that side, it's completely blank. So I'm kind of giving you the false look there. So we're going to go and continue on this side and finish this side off in that colour. And then we're going to give it possibly a lighter purple underneath again. And really I want to just crack one side so that we are all good on one side and I'm happy with how that looks before I then transition to the other side. So whilst we're talking, I'll just mix up some paints on the old vibrating machine of doom. As my buddy Pete calls it, the gink tickler. For those of you that may or may not know what that is. Enjoy that terminology. And Pete, if you're watching this on catch up, you know, then hey, I've just named and shamed you, buddy. So anyway, we will continue with our highlighting of our ghost dragon and making that starting to look that smart on one side. Just I'm happy. I know what I'm going to do because this is all about sort of testing and adjusting on this model. I'm not completely following the box. So if I look at the box here, right, reach down and grab it. So here is our box. This is what we're kind of dealing with here. That's what he looks like in the box. And if I get our model and bring him up, that's what our model looks like. So it's pretty similar, but I'm not sticking to absolutely everything. I'm going to be kind of footloose, fancy-free a little bit. Just because, you know, sometimes it gets a little bit boring when you stick completely to it. We today on our main agenda, what we're talking about throughout the whole of the show today, we are going to talk about creating the right space for you to do your modelling, your hobby, you know, gathering the equipment up, how you lay it out, managing your time to be able to continue this miniature building hobby. Because as we all know, or some may know, some may not, that have not started their hobbying adventure yet, it's quite time consuming and life is super busy, right? So we're going to just have that as our kind of continual theme throughout today's show. And then we have, as usual, we'll have our muscle moment. And in our muscle moment today, we're going to talk about, actually I'm going to talk about my personal fitness journey. So it's not really a topic as such. Well, it is a topic, but it's not a topic that, you know, you guys might want teaching or learnings or tips and tricks from. But I just want to talk about my journey and how it started, because I feel that everyone's journey is different, right? And there's also learning points that you can take from anyone's life. And given where I started in mine and where it's got to today, it's quite different. So you'll see some sort of 3 real stark differences across that. So we'll cover all of that in the muscle moment. But anyway, let's check in with chat to see if anyone else is there. Looks like we've got, maybe an extra person's watching. Who have we got online? Come on, make my day. Come on, make me smile. Put a chat, drop a comment into the chat. Oh my God. Yes, drop a comment into the chat. Oh dear, whilst I take a drink. And no, this is not alcohol. Don't drink alcohol. That's just me. Just don't drink it. I haven't done for years. This is coffee. It's a mocha, but it's very nice. So, who have we got online? Tell me what you've been up to this week, if you feel brave enough to enter the chat. So when we're looking at I always do this, don't I? I catch myself and I'm like, why do I do that? I don't know. I don't have an itchy head. It's just like almost like a self-conscious, bearded veteran, a self-conscious tick or something. I don't know. But I find myself doing this a lot. But anyway, on our Ghost Dragon, we were obviously doing the main model and we spoke about the wings. So here are the wings, and this is what they look like after they've had after they've had some shading put onto them. Now, I wanted them to sort of stand out and look a bit different. I did want them to look in that way. I'm not sure whether I'm happy completely with how they look. I'm unsure of that. But, oh God, I'm just trying to position it so that I can show you what it looks like. Yeah, so that would look roughly there. So I'm not sure whether that colour is right and whether it's too drastically different. I will continue with the main body, and I think we'll probably stick these on towards the end, purely because I do want them to be this kind of see-through kind of colour, but I might have to apply some other shadings to it and some other paints, and I can get the body done, you know, and we kind of know where we're going with this, but I've not worked out the paint to use on those wings yet to really bring that purple through. This is a purple wash, but actually you can't really tell that that's purple at all. This is the original blue up here. So you can see the original blue and how it sort of changed. So it's darker, but it's not actually that great. So I may well change that up. So in chat, what's Bearded Veteran saying? I'm afraid that's probably me twice. I'm watching on TV and commenting. Oh, okay. All right, okay. Well, that's okay. Well, I'll take 2 views from you there, dude. What? I'm on the big screen. Oh, that's pretty cool. Like, that's quite unreal when you think about it. You know, having yourself on someone's TV. That's actually pretty cool. And to think actually that anybody in the whole world. I think when I checked the stats of the YouTube channel, I had someone in Germany, someone in America, and someone. Was it Austria? I don't know. There was another place. There was another. No, Netherlands. It might be the Netherlands. Yeah, I think it was the Netherlands. So like 3 really random places. Like, oh my God, that's quite spooky that you've got someone. Oh, hello from Florida. Oh, honey, and Florida. Cool. I was in Florida not so long ago. Nice. Oh, cool. See, look. So you have people that join you, right? This is a cool thing about YouTube. You have people that join you. And people that watch in, and it's like Bearded Veteran's saying there that he's got me on his telly. Quite a weird thing to think that I'm sat on someone's telly and I'm talking to you as I am now, and I'm on your telly on the big screen, and that's quite an odd yeah, an odd concept. It's quite weird. You know, you never know. This might turn into something absolutely huge, Bearded Veteran, and you're the first person ever to put Minis-N-Muscles on your TV. So, you know, we'll give you that official badge once we get that big. So, a swig of the coffee. Have you all got your wet palette ready? Have you got your fresh water sorted? I won't lift it up in case I spill it. Have you got your fresh water sorted? Are you prepped for today? Is anyone painting, by the way? Any models? Is anyone painting at the time? Or been painting this week? I have been painting, not the Ghost Dragon, because we leave that for this channel, of course. But I am still painting my sister's a battle army. Oh, just sent you proof on Discord. Oh, okay. So I don't know if I can see and access Discord whilst I've got this camera setup going. Let me see. Bear with me, channel. Oh, whoa! Yeah, that's so cool. I'm actually going to download that photo. So, Bearded Veteran, for those of you watching me giggle, right? Bearded Veteran has sent me a picture of me on his telly, and it looks crazy. I didn't know how that came out. Actually, proportion-wise, I might have to stretch the screen out a bit more, because I think we've got a lot of real estate on the left-hand side, right? So I will probably look at editing that. But so that's good reference. That's good to know, because I've never seen it come up. Because you see this OBS, so the operating service that I use to stream, which is a program called OBS. You see this like screen in front of you, so I can see I can see me right now, or if I change the cameras. But it doesn't quite look so disproportionately empty on the left-hand side on mine. So I'm going to have to stretch that screen out. So you're going to get more of me on your screen. But yeah, hopefully that's not going to scare you all off. But that's quite funny. But I have saved the photo, so that's pretty cool. Oh dear. Oh, I've just realised I've got no tissue paper to wipe off my model. So I'm just looking around me to see if I've got any close by whilst I wet all my paintbrushes. No, I don't think I have. What a fool! I'm going to have to grab some very, very quickly. Oh. Right, 2 seconds. I am still here, don't worry. Keep on watching. Don't run away, please. So I've just gone behind the black curtain at the rear. Black curtain. So a friend of mine was saying, "Oh, you really need to get rid of that black curtain. It's terrible. It looks awful." I will at some point. Maybe when the channel gets a little bit better, I'll look at getting rid of the black curtain. All it is a black bed sheet. I'm giving the secrets away now. It's a black bed sheet, and this map behind me is like it's a blanket, like a fluffy blanket thing with a map printed on it. Oh, bonus points for anyone in the comments if you can identify the map. Ooh, there you go. That's something to keep you busy in the background. Right, so you should have your wet palette by now. You should have taken my recommendation to get a wet palette because they're very good. You should be ready with your water. It looks dirty, but it's not. Trust me, it's just the pot. Paintbrush is ready. Paint's out. Okay, we're going to get to work. So let's change our camera. Here we go. D&D 5e is your guess, is it? It could be D&D 5e related, but that's not specifically what it is. So, you know, you're going to have to up your game there, bro. You're going to have to work a little harder. Bonus points to anyone that can guess where the origins of this map is from. It's a cheeky question, but, you know, nonetheless. So, anyway, after we've had our little intros, we've had like 20 minutes now of chatting away, we should really delve into our topic of the day. And our main sort of topic for the day is talking about fitness journeys. And I was just going to talk to you about my fitness... sorry, was I talking about fitness journeys? Crikey, no, I wasn't talking about fitness journeys. It's for the muscle moment. what I was going to talk about, I'm going mad, you see. It happens all the time. What I was going to talk about today for today's agenda was more about creating that environment for you to paint in. So giving yourself a space where you can paint, which is all chilled out and relaxed, and you know, you can find all your bits and bobs appropriately. Okay, so what I'll probably do in a bit is I've got the phone cam next to me, and we will I will show you what I can see right now and how I have everything laid out, and you know, give you some ideas, and we can talk about how that works. We'll talk about the types of equipment I've got. So I'll open a few of the drawers that I've got on my that I've got in front of me, just to show you the kind of things that I'm working with. Again, it's not money busting kind of stuff, it's all average kind of things. It's not tough to get hold of. And then lastly, we'll talk about managing time. Okay, so alrighty. So here we go. So we've got our little dragon here, and part of him actually does require, I've just realised I need to get some more of the purples out here. Sorry peeps, I've not quite done my paint setup here. So I'm going to get all three paints, all the three purples out that I might use this evening, because otherwise it's just a faff to keep on going back in and grabbing another one and sticking it in your wet palette. Because it's a fresh bit of paper in my wet palette, I might as well just get the lot in there and stick it all in across the top, and then work from there. If I need to top it up, then I'll top it up. Alright, there we go. So all three colours in. Oh, I should show you probably the colours that I'm using today. That's a good point. So colour number 1. So we've got Nagaroth Night, which is our darkest purple. We then have Genestealer purple, and we have Decala purple. I think that's Decala. Yeah, Decala lilac. Sorry. So Decala lilac, Genestealer purple, and Nagaroth Night. They're the three colours we're using. So I just wanted to kind of tidy this up a little bit, because there's a couple of little bits that I kind of went, you know, a bit rogue on. So like this round dot here. We don't want no round dots on our dragon. So there's some little sort of areas that I just wanted to recapture and just tidy a bit. Because sometimes when you look at a model after you've shaded or highlighted certain areas, it can look a bit overdone. You know what I was saying to you guys, less is more, and that really is the case with models. It really is the case. You don't want to do too much, and it can quite, you know, you'll sit there and go, oh yeah, I want to do this bit here and I want to do that bit there, and all of a sudden you've ruined your model because it didn't need to have as much of what you've done. I've done that a lot, so I'm just going to take a little bit back of some of this, just adding our darkest shade of purple in here, just to add that. Yeah. So what else has everyone been up to this week? What have you guys been doing? How has work been? What's been going on? Come back and tell me. Get on the chat. So, first part of our agenda today, dedicated modelling space. All right. So first of all, why is this important? Well, we spoke a lot about how modelling as a whole is good. Well, I certainly believe, and I think it's probably proven in a million papers somewhere, but which I haven't read, that modelling is good for the mind. Not just the body, but the mind. And it's super important to be able to keep your mind crisp, especially in today's day and age where, you know, life is super busy, super fast, and everyone is like at 100 miles an hour, and it's real stressful, right? I mean, maybe your job isn't so stressful, and if that is the case, then lucky you, stay in that job and don't change, because there's so much out there that is, and it's not always that nice. It can create a lot of havoc in your life and to your mental well-being. So that kind of extends into modelling. Modelling is something that you can do by yourself in your own time, but it takes you away from all those modern day stresses. So being able to have your own special space for modelling is really important. First of all, it's really important because if you keep on having to take your models away and then put them back and then take them away and put them back, that's an absolute pain in the arse. Nobody wants to be able to do that, and I understand that not everybody is lucky to have a man cave. I'm really lucky, right? I'm super lucky. I have worked hard to get it, but I do have a man cave. So I am lucky in that sense that I have a facility where I can do that, and I understand that that doesn't always happen for everybody. But I wasn't always like this. I segmented off part of my dining room table to do modelling, and it just stayed there. It was always tidy, so no one could ever say to me, "Oh, your stuff," mates come around and go, "Oh, your stuff is all over the place." Actually, no, it's not. My stuff is super tidy. But it helped me. It helped me because I could return to my stuff with ease, and I don't have to think about it. So by having your own dedicated space, you're not going to sit there and question and go, "Oh, well, I can't be asked to set up my models tonight. I can't be asked to get all the paints out again and, do X and Y and Z." So it's actually a great motivator for you to be able to have your dedicated space. And it doesn't have to be a lot. It just means that you've allocated an area in your house, in your life, to modelling, to being able to enable you, to enjoy this hobby. So I would advise you on to get that space sorted in your house if you haven't already. What's Bearded Veteran saying in the chat? Oh, forgot to tell you, I got a D&D Nikoloth figure with a paint set, etc. off Models for Heroes last week. Ready for a series of online figure painting sessions we're going to be doing. Oh, nice! Okay, that's really cool. So, what, in case none of you know, Bearded Veteran is referring to Models for Heroes. Models for Heroes is a charity that supports military veterans, that provides not necessarily D&D stuff specifically, but just models in general. It could be a oh god, what are they called? Airfix model, the old Airfix aeroplanes or something. It could be one of those. It could be absolutely any type of model, and they provide them to veterans for free to give them something to focus on when they leave the military, or if they're in need in terms of some mental health support. So they're a really good charity. Check them out if you have the opportunity. I've met a few of the people there, lovely people, like genuinely lovely people, and it's a good cause. Helping anyone with mental health issues is a really lovely, noble thing to do, but it's actually a very kind thing to do, and it's a worthwhile cause. There's a lot of charities out there I think are a load of tosh, but this one actually I think is a very, very good, worthwhile charity. So you've got this one ready for online painting sessions. Cool. Oh man. Well, I might be able to jump in on some of your sessions, Bearded Veteran, over the next couple of weeks now, because I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere I don't think I'll be going anywhere maybe till December now, so I'll have a bit of time back home. So I was meant to be going out to some places in October, but I don't think that's happening now for whatever reason. So yeah, that's okay. So I'll be about, and if I can jump on the stream and help, or if I can just jump in and tune in, I'd be more than happy to do so. So yeah, so we're talking about creating that space. So now you've allocated your space for doing your models, and you've sort of got that nailed down as your space. Well, what does that space need to look like? Well, actually, it doesn't need to look like anything in particular in terms of special things. It needs to be somewhere you can sit down comfortably for an hour or two. So a fairly decent chair with back support. I mean, although I'm saying that, right, and I'm using this fold-out chair that I'm sat on right now. I do have a gaming chair over there, but this is actually quite a comfy chair. It's like the cheapest, horrible, most nastiest chair going, and I find it really comfortable. That's the irony in that. But yeah, make sure you've got a chair, a comfortable chair that you're happy with, and then a table that's at a good height. So it's no good at being at the wrong height. You need it to be at the right height for you. And then you're ready to crack on and do what you need to do. Always when you're painting, have good wrist support. In fact, I could probably do this actually. Let's swap to phone cam. Here we go. Right, that way. Oh god, let's just bring that out. So, as you can see here from my phone cam, I don't know why it changes like this, and now I've got my phone in front of my face, which is not great. Maybe if I do that. Aha! You can see here, this is the edge of my table, right? And I've got my forearms rested on the table. I always do this because it gives me support to be able to focus on the model and not, you know, getting old and you have shaky hands or whatever. So it just means you've got a little bit more stability. I can then brace my hands either onto the model or across the table like this, and then I've just got more sturdiness for doing any painting that I need to do. So let's just swap back. Yeah, so it's I find it quite helpful to be able to have a table that sits right for me. I think that's a bit thin, that paint I've got here. Might be too much water in my wet palette, so sometimes when you're mixing your wet palette, if you add too much water to the base, it then starts doing stuff like this to your paints where it's just too thin. I'll tell you what, I bought this brush, and this is a rubbish brush. A Citadel brush, right? I'm going to call you out, Citadel. It's one of their most expensive brushes, an Artificer brush, and it's useless. It really is poor quality. Has anyone else experienced this from Citadel recently? Poor quality brushes? I don't know. Tell me, drop a comment in the chat if you have. But yeah, very annoying. So I'm just going to, just because I felt like doing it, I'm just going to start on the other side. I know I said it a minute ago, no, I'll do the one side first and then go to the other. I changed my mind, guys. Come on. You can change your mind, right? Let's get a bit of paint in here. Yeah, this brush is not very good. It keeps on splaying. Even when using the side of the brush, when it shouldn't do that at all. Like if you use your brush and dab it inwards, like this, if you can see my paintbrush moving, you end up splaying the brush. But if you're gentle and use the side and stroke the side along the ridge and things like that, it shouldn't work like that. And it doesn't even seem to want to go into a point. I might have to change this brush up and put this. I might have to put this into reserve. Can we see here? Look, if I just bring this into camera, you see how that keeps splaying out? That's awful. Right, I've just done the old painter's trick in the mouth, pulled all the bristles together. But as soon as you put it into the paint, it just splays straight away. So I'm going to stick that there. I'm going to swap over to this brush. I don't even know what this one is. Oh, this is a really cheap brush that I had. So let's see if this works any better. So yeah, brushes are really important when painting, funnily enough. Oh, it doesn't seem to be too bad, this one. And this is a real cheap one. Yeah, see, I'm not sure whether Citadel have changed something that they're doing and it's just not the same as what it was. The quality seems to be really poor. Citadel, I'm calling you out. Like, genuinely. I used to have paintbrushes that would last forever. And now, and bear in mind, I changed my paintbrushes not so long ago, all of them, and it seems to be real poop. So I'm not happy about that. Yeah, so, spaces, back to our main agenda, rather than me whinging. Yeah, so we're talking about having that and creating that essential space for yourself, just so you've got somewhere that you can lay your models out to, return to. It just enables you to feel like you're not trapped and oh God, I've got to pull my models all out of the boxes again. I've got to go and do this. I've got to go do that. It gives you a little bit of freedom, I guess, to pick up the paintbrush whenever you want. Oh, I'll just do a quick half hour. Great. Bang out a quick half hour. That's exactly what you want. You don't want restriction of having to set it up every time. You want to be able to dip in when you're feeling good, right? So get that space organised in your house. Doesn't have to be that you allocate, you know, a whole man cave to it, or that you have a huge area available. Doesn't need to be that. All it needs to be is a suitable table, a suitable chair, and a little bit of space in front of that for you to place your paints on, right? And obviously your freshly made water and your water palette. So yeah, so that's all you need. Nothing special at all. And that gives you your area. Oh, what's got in chat? So, I was Bearded Veteran saying you'll be more than welcome, bud. Me, John Marley, Scaling Models, Teens, Gary Evans, Gary's Stuff, doing open panel live stream Monday afternoons. I also do 3 other 2-hour lives a week. Oh, nice. Okay, Monday afternoons could be tricky for me. Work dependent. I'll say possibly. Possibly. Just all depends on what's going on. I may be able to put you guys on in the background, but I certainly wouldn't be able to join the actual stream and, you know, sort of present with you guys, unfortunately. Not unless I'm on a day off, anyway. So, just back to our model, what we're doing here is just filling in these sort of low light areas just underneath these scales, just to give it a bit of definition. It doesn't have to be doesn't have to be perfect paint along these parts. That's not what we're doing it for. We're just doing it just to give it a little bit of a lighter colour to break up that purple. That's all it's there for. And we can, because we've got the black undercoat as well, it always works nice because the bits you don't fill actually can remain like that and they don't really make much difference, which is quite nice. So how is the rest of your week's work, people? Drop a comment in and tell me how you've been. Have you been good? Have you been keeping all right? I'm talking to keeping all right. It sort of links us back into our theme of spaces for your painting. So, you know, keeping yourself all right and having an escape for you to get to. And that escape I don't mean by, you know, running away a million miles away. It's just having a space to be able to retire to, that you can call your own painting area, right? So that's super important. So if you can do that, I would highly recommend it. If you can't, and you have no space, and some people don't have the space, like, you know, a few years ago I lived in a caravan, so, you know, it wasn't that long ago that I had no space. So, you know, actually having space is nice, but I understand if you can't. So there's always places like your local game store. So local game stores, quite often, they're very open, and it could be a Games Workshop Warhammer store. It could be an unbranded place, but they're very welcome and quite often have dedicated painting areas. You know, so you could get a little box to put your paints in, just a shoebox or something. Take them all along with you, and go sit in a model shop. Actually, I did this a while. I have done this before, and it is pretty good because you can immerse yourself in all the geekery that's there, right? So, without, you know, it's just to give you an update on the dragon there. Look, you can't see it too much because I've painted the underside of the scale, but From the edge, it's not too bad. We'll crack on with that in a sec. Yeah, so by going into somewhere like a Games Workshop for your space, and if that's your chosen dedicated space, prep out your box. So your carry-in box, your little shoe box that you've got, bring it to you, bring it with you, sorry, fill it with the paints, fill it with the glues, fill it with the models, and take it with you, and take it to your local game store and go sit in there. It might cost you maybe £5 or something, $5 to rent a table for the day or something, but that's not a huge amount of money. It's just, you know, just a little bit more than blooming coffee nowadays in the UK. So Bearded Veteran just nipping into the chat saying, no worries, I'm thinking of adding an evening live stream on a Wednesday if that helps. It's also important that the other people in the house respect it as your space so you can decompress. So there's two things there, yeah. So you're talking about evening live streams for me to join in on. Yeah, that would be more helpful. Wednesdays is probably my most busiest day, so I don't always get home until maybe 7 o'clock from work alone on those days normally, because Wednesday's quite a busy day in the office. But when you're talking about your dedicated workspace, you are 100% right. It's important that other people in the house respect it as your space. If you live with other people in your house, you know, just say, look, guys, whether it's a shared house or whether it's family, you know, this is my little area. This is where I decompress. This is where I chill. Can you just give me 5 minutes and let me do my thing? You know, and they should be plenty polite enough to be able to comply with that and, you know, actually be a good human, you know, and go and do that. So don't panic. People might just get used to it after a little while. Oh, I've just gone over the edge there on that. Let's take that out. So what we got here, we got Honey Ann is saying, my work week isn't quite over yet, so I'm listening from the office. The intern is too. Hello, intern, office intern. Hello to you. See, office intern. Now what you need to do, rather than listening via Honey Ann 42's account, what you need to do is log in on your YouTube. All right, I'm talking to you, intern. Okay, I'm going to boss you about right now. Log in on your YouTube. Get your phone out. Log in. Subscribe. Minis-N-Muscles. All right. It's the place to be. It's where the brawn meets the brush. Only place to be on a Friday. All right. Log in, subscribe, follow, do all that good jazz. Set your notifications on so you see when we go live. And then it'll be an extra viewer. All right. Be awesome. We've got Tiffany Lewin. Evening. Hello, Tiffany. How are you? How are you keeping? Welcome, welcome, welcome. What was I doing? I completely forgot. I was painting this, wasn't I? Come on, Steve, wake up. I've had some of that coffee and it's still not kicked in yet. But I'm sure it will. It's maybe like 300 milligrams of caffeine, which is a lot. So all we're doing is on the model itself is we're just adding in a little bit of a sort of highlight in the low areas of the scales. So as you see there, that's the kind of effect you're getting, which is quite nice. So we're just going to go on this side as well and do the same and try and replicate. So I'm quite happy so far. I was, yes, I know, before you shout at me, I was going to do some more lighter purples on this side, but I'm actually not. I'm going to go straight to this side and carry on with this colour because I'm enjoying myself. And again, that's what you guys should be doing. If you're enjoying it, just do it. So with these extra little areas that I'm colouring, I'm just literally choosing a sort of a depression or a sort of bit on the model, the sort of a raised area, and just choosing it and just drawing a sort of swooshy mark through it, following the contours of the model itself. And it seems to have like quite a nice effect. I quite like it. Yeah. So what else were we saying when we were talking about stuff? So we've got our essential space that is all booked out and all good. So we've kind of negotiated that, whether it's a table, whether it's a space in your home, or whether it's a place in the local game store. Does not matter. Just take that space and run with it. It's not a problem. Once you've sort of classified that as your sanctum, As Bearded Veteran said, just make sure people respect that space if you live in a shared accommodation, or if you've got family, kids, whatnot. And once you sort of tell them that this is, I don't know, this is what mum's doing or this is what dad's doing, they'll soon listen and take heed. And if not, punishment is the way forward. Not literally easy. So yeah, once you've got that space then sorted and ready, and you've got your area and a suitable table, suitable chair, it's then down to your equipment. So, I'll just take a little pause right now, and I'll just show you what I have laid out in front of me. Well, I'll best wash my brush before it all stiffens up. So, if I swap over cameras. So here is my, you'll see yourself now. So this is my setup, right? I've got my paints here on a sort of MDF paint holder, right? This come from Amazon. I think it was Amazon. It wasn't a lot of money. It was about 15 quid. It comes flat packed. You've got to glue it together. And I also painted it as well. It comes with lots of little drawers. We'll go through the drawers in a bit. I've got my laptop there. I've got another one this side. So more paints this side. I've got my notes that I talk about. I've got my drink. I've got my wet palette. I've got the model and some glue and stuff because I was going to do the wings. I've got a little set of paints there that I've taken out and pre-mixed. I've got this here. What is this? So this is it's a bit like let me take it that way. It's like a ring light type thing with a magnifying glass in it. I don't often use a magnifying glass, but it's there in case I need it, in case I'm really blind. I do have a little cradle there for my phone, for the phone cam. And then just off to the side here, I've got my little paint shaker just off to the side. That's my setup. That's not flash. That's nothing super expensive. It's not hard to get hold of items. Really easy to get hold of. None of these items that I've shown you, apart from the laptop and the blooming iPad, which are expensive, but none of the rest of it actually costs more than... let's see. Don't think any of it costs more than 20 quid. I think this light thing was about 20 quid. The paint shaker, I think that was £15 off Amazon. The two paint holders, they were like 15 quid. Again, it was flat packed, and you had to assemble it yourself and glue it all together. So you do need some glue, but that's not the end of the world. Wet palette, that again, I think that was about £12. This little stand to hold my mobile phone in case I want to do that. That was about 5 quid. Nothing expensive. Oh, I have got a ring light here as well, as you probably get the reflection in my glasses. That was the cheapest ring light in the world. That was super cheap. It was like... I think it was come in a pack with other things, including like this really crappy microphone. It's about £10. Right, so none of this setup here is expensive. It's not on a huge table. Actually, I lie. It is on a large table, but the space I'm using is not big at all. It's 1 metre by 1 metre. If you had a 1 metre by 1 metre table, absolutely more than enough. I used to paint on a teeny tiny table. It was even smaller than that, less than a metre squared. And that was absolutely fine. What's Tiffany saying in chat? So I'm good, thanks, Steve. Just cracking on with my plane. It's very slow going. Ooh. Okay, so drop a picture in, Tiff. Drop a picture in of your plane. Let's all see what you're doing. I'd love to see what you're working on, so drop it into the chat. Bearded Veteran is saying, Steve, you've colour coordinated your drink and your Drago. Oh no, I don't know. I don't know. Can you show stuff online? I don't know, but it's red. It's red and like a kind of grey black camo-y kind of thing. That's my drink. So it's not quite the same as Drago. Drago's purple, but yeah, it might just be where I whipped over it. But yes, it's very nice over that drink. So if you've ever heard of Black Rifle Coffee, can't get them in the UK. Black Rifle Coffee, if you're listening, it's the second firm I'm calling out tonight. Black Rifle Coffee, if you're listening, you need to open up in the UK. Although I don't know whether that brand name would go down well in the UK. Probably not, because we have too many lefty wimps out here. So that probably wouldn't go down too well, and everyone would cry. But I'd buy the drinks, and that's what's most important, right? So we just add in some more of this purpling. So yeah, so that's my essential equipment. We'll go through the drawers shortly. I just want to get a little bit more on this model done, because otherwise we're going to be here for forever and ever. But it's like I say, it's not expensive stuff. It's all pretty cheap, cheap and cheerful, and it's on a small table. I would stand up and show you this chair because it's rather embarrassing, but it's I won't do that today. Embarrass myself. I think if I had this chair for about, I think I've had this chair for almost 10 years. When I moved out of my caravan, right? So when I left the military, I moved into a caravan. I couldn't afford a lot, so I moved into a caravan because it was cheap. When I moved out of the caravan into a flat, so or an apartment, it wasn't an apartment. Apartment's a posh word. It was a flat, and it was a tiny flat as well. I had a very small dining table for it's like a two-person one. So it was literally, I think it was less. I think it was 75 by 75 centimeters squared. So super tiny. And this chair was part of that set. It's like a fold up, so the table would fold away and the chairs would fold away purely to give me more space. So that's what I started with. So you don't need a lot. You don't need a lot at all. What's happening in chat? I used to love the coffee called Rocket Fuel. Oh, Rocket Fuel. I've not heard of that one. Is that a good one? Do I need to trial this coffee? There's the question, bearded veteran. Do I need to trial that coffee? Aims are loads of life admin this week. Yeah, adulting, right? Never good. Adulting, never good. Yeah, I feel your pain. I feel your pain because yeah, no, who can say they enjoy life admin jobs and adulting? Nobody. And if you say you do, gosh, you're lying through the back of your teeth, I tell you. What's Tiffany saying? Can't drop pics in YouTube chat. Oh, okay. I'll pop some pics in the Bearded Veterans Discord if you're in there, yeah? Or, alternatively, you can join the Minis-N-Muscles Discord and drop a chat in there. So we do have a chat function on the Minis-N-Muscles Discord. So if anyone does use Discord and you just fancy a chat, there's not a huge amount of people on there at the moment. We're a very small channel, but you know, you are more than welcome. So if you go to the main YouTube channel for Minis-N-Muscles, on there you will find the Linktree link, and within that you will find in there the Discord channel. I'm pretty sure I've set that up correctly, so I'm hoping so anyway. If not, give me a shout and let me know. I'll rectify that. But yeah, I didn't realise you can't drop pictures into YouTube chat. That's a bit of a shame. It's a bit of a failure on YouTube, actually. I'm surprised. Not that I'm questioning whether you can or not, by the way, Tiffany. I 100% believe you. I'm just surprised that the functionality isn't there. Bearded Veteran, Rocket Fuel is to coffee what Monster is to Vimto. If you're not used to coffee, it'll definitely wake you up. Nice. So this coffee I'm drinking right now is 300 milligrams of coffee, or caffeine, sorry. That's pretty hefty. That outweighs pretty much any energy drink that I know of in terms of caffeine levels. There might be maybe one or two energy drinks in the US. Rip It, I think, might be. I don't know if they still do Rip It, actually. But that was one that was pretty high. But yeah, for a drink that's 443 ml, to have 300 milligrams. It's 100 milligrams per almost. No, that's not right, is it? It's like 80 or 75 milligrams of caffeine per 100 ml. Energy drinks in the UK normally 32 ml of caffeine per 100 milligrams, per 100 millilitres. So that's the kind of parallel that you've got. This is quite a strong coffee, but it doesn't taste strong. It just tastes delicious. And this one's the rich mocha, and it just tastes like a creamy, lovely, chocolatey drink. So, Black Rifle Coffee, you want to sponsor the channel? Yes, please. I know you work with a lot of veterans. Given you're a veteran-owned company yourselves, hit up Minis-N-Muscles. We'll take a sponsorship deal. You know how it is. There's me. Look, I've already wailed into 2 companies already and told them to sponsor me. Well, I didn't tell them to sponsor me, but I did Black Rifle Coffee actually just then. But, you know, we've got to be a bit cheeky sometimes, I guess. So we've got our space. We just had a look at equipment for our painting areas. So, you know, we sort of talked about space and it having that area of dedication to your love, passion, hobby, whatever you want to call mini painting. And then you've got your equipment that doesn't have to be pro stuff. It can just be nice and cheap and cheerful. And you've got all that booked in as well. And what does it look like? Well, I'll just go through my drawers on my camera here. So let's swap cameras again. Let's go to the phone cam. All right. So we've got this band. Let's just move that out of the way. Don't want to see my armpit on the screen. That's never good. So what we got here? Just move that back. There we go. So we've got a couple of drawers in this. What have we got in here? So this one I've got a model holder. So if I want to clip a model into here, I can just screw this on onto there, and you can just then hold your model in a grip rather than holding the base. What's nice about this, and the only time I really use it, is for these. So these are small little sort of bulldog clips that you can put onto your model to hold things in place. That is brilliant, right, for plastic pieces that you're gluing in place, but it takes ages for the glue to set and they're really fiddly and they don't stay still. Those are really good for that, so I would advise that. That was probably around 10 quid or something like that. They're not too expensive. This one, oh, this one is like a box of shame for mini bits. So this is just like loads of bases. This is like minis that I've bought that have just come out the wrong size. This one was given to me actually that I need to paint, so I need to do that one. What have I got in here? So this is turfs. So for my models, so I've got a couple of different types of turf. So I've got like this nice, well, it's called swamp tuft, but it doesn't look very swampy to me. But that looks more swampy to me. And then we've got some flowers as well in there, in case you want flowers on your mini. Apart from that, I think we've just got instructions in there and a tape measure. What else? Oh, and bits of paper. Yeah, nothing else of interest in that drawer. What else have we got on this bottom drawer? We've got some green stuff. So this is modelling putty. Again, about 6 quid for a little box of this, this same size, just for filling in gaps. We've got some mixing balls. These are to go in your paint pots to help agitate and mix the paints. And you've got some more grass on the bottom there. It's just Games Workshop's own one, so you can get 10 quid there. I don't know if that's got a price on. No, it's not. But they're not very expensive. All of that, probably, you know, none of that is over £10. So it's all small items. This side, I've just got some base mix. So you can just put some glue on your base and then just cover the base in this stuff just to give it a sort of a gravel type feel to it. I've also got some fleck grass somewhere. This drawer, oh, there's the fleck grass underneath there. You can see it. I won't get it out because it's stuck behind the computer. But that's just some fleck grass underneath there. Same as that gravel, just in a big pot. I don't think I can get it out. And paint. Then what we've got over this side. Ooh, let's just move that out of the way. Can I move this out of the way without destroying everything? Let's have a look. Yeah, paints in that one. Paints. What's in this one? Oh, yeah, mostly paints. Some cutters, super glue, some pins, and that's usually to help open up the end of my paint needle. So yeah, otherwise I get glued stuck sometimes. This side paints, that side paints, and I think the bottom drawer is also paints. Yeah, and some magnets on this side. So this one is just magnets, so small magnets to go on bottom of bases, so you can have a magnetic base in a cardboard box. So if I just pause that there and change over, go back to this one. So for that, why has my screen changed? There you go. I've just moved my laptop, haven't I? That's why. Yeah, so if you have got a shoebox or something to put your models in, on Amazon you can get these small A4 sized magnetic sheets. They cost £5 or £6 for 2. Cut them into shape, put them in the bottom of a shoebox. Once that's in the bottom of the shoebox, you can like line it with some old bits of foam or something, so you've got a bit of padding around the edge. Then, on the bottom of your minis, take those magnets that I've just shown you, and glue a few magnets. For something this big, you're going to have a couple, but for just a normal 32mm model, you'd probably need one. Glue some of those onto your minis, and then just drop them into your box to carry them places, and they stick to the mat, they don't move. So you can literally turn it upside down and they don't move anywhere, as long as you've stuck the magnetic sheet down to your box. When you turn it upside down, they don't move anywhere. It's absolutely awesome. So I'd 100% advise you do that. And again, it's cheap. It's like $5.99 for one of those magnetic sheets. Super cheap. Oh, I've just made my glasses even worse. Great. Now I can't see nothing. I've got new glasses as well, guys. These are cool glasses. I got really excited in the shop when I saw them because they bend. Because I broke my other glasses whilst I was away, and these ones bend. And I was like, right, that's it. I need those. They're cool. Tiff is saying in Discord chat, oh, there's no link. Oh, sorry, she's saying in YouTube chat, there is no link to the Discord. Ah, that's not good. I thought I'd put one on there. Maybe I haven't. Maybe that's my fault. Oh, god darn it. No, I haven't. You're right. I swear I put that in. Well, I'm going to have to drop that in now, aren't I? And have to share the link. Let me find it very, very quickly for you. And for everybody that's watching. Because everyone wants to get on the Minis-N-Muscles server. That's the place to be. How do I share this server? Oh, there you go. I can copy that link there. I can go down here. Oh, I've just lost my chat box now. View, where's my chat box? Ah, there. Right, and paste. Come on. And I can paste there. There we go. So there is the Discord channel. I was stupidly thought that was already on my link tree. So my apologies to you, Tiff. I was giving you dud information. Righty. So back with our model. Oh, let's switch cameras. Back with our conversation. So there's all my essential equipment anyway. There's not a huge amount there. It's pretty simplistic. It's not expensive. That's the main thing. What you can do in this hobby, and I've noticed you can really get carried away on spending. It's quite bad, actually. You know, you can walk out of a shop with hundreds of pounds and literally have one item in your hand or something ridiculous. It's quite a pricey, or can be a pricey hobby. You know, I'm sure if you, Tiff, and bearded veteran are painting models right now, you know, model making can be super expensive, and I'm sure you'll agree with me. Hopefully you'll agree with me. So there's that side of him. He's looking quite good. There's that side of him. So we just need some extra bits in there, don't we? So we need to back off this colour, and we need to add some more in there. Ah, okay, so just looked at rocket fuel is between 300 and 400 milligrams. Whoa! Depending on how much you pour in, and how you brew it. Ah, okay, so that's a brewable coffee, got you. So this is all pre-canned stuff, so yeah, if you can change your volume with that rocket fuel, then yeah, I bet that's super high potent stuff. Ooh, that's going to blow your head off, but I suppose quite amusing. What I'm going to try and do now on this model, before we get back into the discussion, I'm going to try with a lighter purple and just go along some of these bits here just to give it a extra bit, but my hand is not steady enough sometimes. Probably that 300 milligram of coffee. But I just want to give all of these purple bits just an extra bit of shading. So there we go, let's get that in there. I don't know what this will look like. I don't know if that even looks right or not. But it's all experimentation, right? It doesn't matter too much. I'm not super precious. We can always change it at some point. Yeah, okay. Don't know if I like it or not. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that's too white. I mean, it's meant to be lilac, but it's a little bit too light, I think. It does have some pinky tones to it, or purpley tones to it, but not a huge amount. Yeah, we'll see. Let's do this one side and see how it turns out. Yeah, so anyway, we're talking about dedicated workspace, essential equipment. You know, I think we've nailed those two down. We're talking about halfway through our live stream today, which is quite good. Oh, it's gone very, very fast. If we're halfway through, I suppose the only right place to go is to our muscle moment. And I'll carry on doing a bit of painting whilst we're talking of our muscle moment, because really today, muscle moment is not on a coaching sort of method here. We're going for just a bit of a story. Just a bit of a story about me and my journey so far to date on fitness. So where did it start? So for me, my journey didn't really start when I was a kid, because I was a bit of a lazy kid, to be fair. Didn't really do a huge amount. Could have done so much, but didn't. I was just lazy. And I then joined the army at 16. So I didn't have a choice but to train and do fitness. And it started off with me being fairly okay, and then becoming very competitive and wanting to, you know, do better, be faster, be stronger. So at the age of 16 I'd become very competitive, once I joined the army, that is, and started sort of trying to beat everybody and prove that the slightly chubby kid could do it. And I was slightly chubby then, I don't mind admitting that. Yeah, and it was there that I sort of started to fall in love with two things. So I'd never really done any running before, and the army forced me to run, and I had to do it, so I started to like it, weirdly, and I got better and better through practice. It wasn't because I was necessarily naturally gifted, probably more stubborn-minded, and I just pig-headedly sort of went at it like a madman. Which was quite fun for a long time. So I really got into cardiovascular exercise, and it was mainly in the form of cross country, and circuit training. So they were sort of my two main areas, really. What about you guys? What did you start off your fitness journey, or how did you start your fitness? Have you started your fitness journey is the question, actually. If you have, how did you start it? So drop it in the chat. Let me know. I'd love to know what your fitness journey is and how you started. As I said, mine was when I joined the army at 16, at the ripe age of 16. What about you guys? So what's in chat? Tiffany's saying it depends on the brand of model as well as size. Yeah, that's true. That is very true. Bit of veteran is saying I put all my stash onto a spreadsheet along with the price of each kit a few weeks ago, and believe me, it's not cheap. So I think if you're adding up the individual items, like if I add up all these paints, it does cost to a lot. It does come to a lot. But my point is, you can buy it over time, and it doesn't actually cost you a huge amount of money, right? I'm not suggesting to anyone to go out and buy absolutely everything that I've just shown you. If you were to do that, even though no item is over 20 quid, it would cost you a lot to deck yourself out. It's a couple of £100 there, probably. Haven't done the maths, not very good at it. But, yeah, you're right. If you put all of it onto a spreadsheet, it would probably cost a lot to replace it. However, I think it's more about, like, enjoying it piece by piece. So I didn't have every single paint because I didn't need them. I bought them when I needed them. So if I was to paint a new model and I found that I didn't have a colour and I wanted it, oh great, okay, well that's cue for me to go and buy a new paint. And I just went and bought the new paint, and it costs, you know, £3 or whatever it was to, I think it was about £3 or £4 to buy a paint, and I cracked on that way. That was really how I did my building of my equipment list. You know, it's not, I don't think it's something you should do too crazily or too quickly. But back to the muscle moment. We're talking about sort of fitness journeys and where you started, and I started mine as I, you know, joined the army and started getting into circuit training and running. Purely because the army told me I had to run and had to be faster, so right, okay, well that was it. I started doing that. And it kind of got a bit of an addictive bug, so I never actually done anything like that at all as a kid, really. You know, you do have PE at school, but, you know, I was always pretty... Well, I wasn't lazy, but I wasn't the top of the class either, so... yeah, I found that I quite started to enjoy it, and I started to lose a little bit of that chub from running and circuit training. And I started to find a bit of a bug for it. So how did you guys get into your fitness? I'd really love to know how you guys started your journeys. It's not all about me here at Muscles and Minis and Muscles. It's, you know, it's about you guys too. I want to know about you guys and what you did. We've still got the intern on. What does the intern do for fitness? Look at that big old blob right there. I need to get rid of that. So, Bearded Veteran is saying, I used to enjoy doing CFTs, but being Remy, I only had to carry 15 kilograms plus a weapon and helmet. When I came back from Iraq, I found no matter how hard I tried, my brain would not let me exert myself anymore. Yeah, so I would say different situations obviously trigger certain things, and, you know, whether that's good or bad things. And sometimes they are bad, and sometimes they have an effect on you and don't allow you to do stuff, and the body just says, no, I can't do that because I need something else from you to do X, Y, Z. It just might mean that your body needed you at that moment, Bearded Veteran, to be able to do something else, to preserve you as an individual. It just needed you to do something else, and that's just sometimes how bodies work. For those of you who aren't used to British Army talk, a CFT is a combat fitness test. On a combat fitness test, it's a loaded march where you carry weight on your back in the form of a big backpack, and the British Army will call that a bergen. And they will put that on their back, and different trades carry different weights. So Billy Veteran was saying there he was Royal Electrical Mechanical Engineers, so he carried with him 15 kilograms, which is different from other corps and cap badges and all the rest of it. So, you know, all depends on what you were to give you then your weight you had to carry. But the lowest was 15 kilograms anyway. That was the lowest mark. And it went up to 25 kilograms, was it? Gosh, it's 10 years ago now, next year. So I can't even bloody remember. Yeah, I think that was the maximum you could do. Gosh, I should remember, being an ex-physical training instructor as well. That's embarrassing, isn't it? Tiffany's saying, I love playing badminton at school. Now my health hinders me doing too much, which is sad because I have some lovely countryside walks near me. Oh, man, that does suck. I'm sorry to hear that. I'm sorry to hear that. That's not always easy to deal with situations that are put onto you without your choice, consent or want. So that's always slightly harder to deal with when it's not your decision making as well. So I'm sorry to hear that, Tiff. I hope that you are okay and you know you can get through what you need to get through, etc. But you're saying there badminton. Yeah, so I played badminton as a kid in, I think it was primary school I started. Quite enjoyed that. Quite enjoyed that badminton. It was quite good. Wasn't particularly great at it. It wasn't terrible. It wasn't particularly great at it, but that was a good game. Walks though, walks are very good. You know, and it does depend, of course, as Tiff is saying there, on your health. But if you're, you know, able to get out and enjoy some walks, I think I talked about earlier, what should you do to try and lose weight? If you can get in 10,000 steps per day, that's a great start to a fitness journey, you know. I was saying that my fitness journey started with runs and ultimately runs, but also circuit training in the army at 16. But it could start today with walks, and those walks could be a 2-mile walk or a 1-mile walk or a 1 kilometre walk, and it could be with your dog and your family. You know, as simple as that. It doesn't have to be much to start you off and get you going. It's actually more about getting out there in the first place. That's the important part. Getting out there, being out there. You know what, guys? I'm not sure I'm liking this lighter colour because it doesn't come out particularly well. I might have to go back and change all of this in my downtime, which is not good. But we'll see what it looks like once I'm done. Yeah, so where did I go? So I started off on that sort of running, you know, purely because I had to, because I was told to, and I was told to run faster and all the rest of it, which was still good. I enjoyed it. It was fun. Then I started branching into a bit more competition. I found that I liked the challenge. So for me, it was all about the challenge of doing something. And that sort of inspired me to go on and start on cross country. So starting cross country running, and on the cross country running there, it was nice to get out into the nature, and it was cool to see all of that. But I also liked trying to beat people. You know, probably like a trying to prove myself kind of thing. But I liked that aspect of it. So that was, for me, cross country was like the start to everything. And I started, when I joined that, to find that my fitness really went up. I was training with people that were way fitter than me. So one good tip for you, if you could choose someone to train with, choose someone that is fitter than you so that you can challenge yourself. So if you have some inspirational target and it's your buddy, they will be far more inspirational than, you know, watching The Rock on wrestling every night and wanting to have a body like his when, you know, you never see the guy and you can't interact with him, and he takes steroids anyway, so he's going to be 10 times bigger than you'll ever be. So having a buddy there that you can train with that can challenge you and push you is really, really helpful. So again, I think we talked about that before, actually, about having a training buddy. But yeah, following some friends that do fitness too, always a good tip. Bearded Veteran in the chat is saying 15 kilograms is coincidentally the same weight as our issue toolboxes. Yeah. Here's a laugh for you. When I was a physical training instructor in the army, as I got my qualification, when we did our combat fitness tests and practices for our combat fitness tests, which is carrying that weighted bag on our backs, we as physical training instructors had to check people's weight and make sure that people weren't cheating, right? So cheeky little blighters like Bearded Veteran there might be lined up on the day of his test or a practice session, and it's down to people like me to go up to him and say, Bearded Veteran, I need to weigh your Bergen or your backpack, and then I'd have to then just get him to take that off and then weigh his backpack in front of everybody. Sometimes you find people that were carrying pillows, so they just stuffed the bag out with pillows, hoping that they wouldn't be chose to have their bags weighed, so they could get away with it. And then other days there were other people that were about that had way too much in, and you were like, why have you brought like 40 kilograms? You're never going to be able to carry that. But some people were like adamant that they wanted to because they were trying to, prove themselves and all the rest of it, which was just stupid. But this will make you laugh, Bearded Veteran. The two funniest things I ever found in a backpack. Item number 1 was an anvil. So an actual anvil was in someone's bag and they were going to carry it over an 8-mile course. That's absolutely mental. An actual anvil, people. An anvil. The big things that you smash your hammers on and flatten metal. An anvil. Had it in his bag. Could not believe it. So that was one thing that I found that was quite amusing. And the other thing that was quite funny was someone's alcohol collection. So they literally had got every single alcohol bottle off their shelf in their bedroom, and whether it was full or not, they just put it in their bag, and they were trying to carry that. Just loads of alcohol. So every time they moved, it was like clunk, clunk, clunk. Yeah. So it's quite amusing. Those 2 funny things that I found. Bearded Veteran in chat is saying a friggin' anvil. Did you send them for a psyche eval? Yeah, that they were just stupid. I met some wonderful people in the army. I genuinely did, but I also met some absolute fools in the army. Not necessarily arseholes, but just really foolish. And this guy was just really foolish. I don't know why, but he just didn't have the weight in his Bergen, and he just threw an anvil into his Bergen. So that was pretty crazy. I don't know why. But yeah, that is what he did. That is a true story, an anvil. And that was on a commanding officer's physical training session as well. So that was in front of the whole regiment. And we're lining up, and he pulls out, or I pull out an anvil out of this guy's bag. And his sergeant major was not happy. So that was quite amusing. Because obviously it sort of embarrasses his guys, right? So it makes his guys look stupid. The sergeant major's guys, that is. So yeah, so it was funny to see that reaction. I did enjoy it. But yeah, why he did it, I don't know. To this day, I have no idea. That was 2002. So yeah, it's quite some time ago. Yeah, but an anvil, most intriguing. And then yeah, bottles of vodka, bottles of whiskey. Yeah, that was, to be fair, no one ever topped this one guy that literally had his entire alcohol stash. But there were quite often people with, you know, crates of beer, and they would carry crates of beer with them, and then you wouldn't know it because you hadn't weighed their Bergen, and then you get to the end and they'd stop off outside the block and where we all live, and they would crack open the beers out the back of their bags. Yeah, mental. So it's quite funny. There's a lot of randomness back then. So what are we thinking, guys, on this white? Is that too much? Is that too much white? Oh, hang about. Is that too much white? Does it need, like... It's not white, actually. It's lilac, but it comes off looking white. Which I don't really like. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure I'm sold. But what do you guys think? So is anyone else have any funny stories that they've done in their fitness moments? But anyway, before I linger too long on the crazy weights I used to find, as I got used to doing lots of fitness, I then sort of through cross country, I then found myself into triathlons. At that point, and cycling as well, so triathlons and cycling, so at that point I was sort of really cutting down on weight and trying to get thinner and smaller, so you know my power to weight ratio was higher, and at this point I must have weighed about 67, I think it was, kilograms. And 67 kilograms is not a lot of weight at all. That's pretty small. Pounds wise, it's not much over 115 pounds, I don't think. So if you're in the States and you're listening, yeah, not much over 115 pounds. So that was pretty small, and that was probably the smallest I've ever been. But you know, that's okay. And I started getting into triathlon and really enjoyed it. Again, because it was like not just against others, but it was largely the mental battle against yourself, and I freaking loved that. So I went and did a lot of different triathlons and did Ironman events and things like that, which I found that I loved. So that was good fun. Didn't mind doing any of those; they were real cool. Yeah, and so from triathlons, it was a lot of cycling. So from that cycling, you know, after I'd done the Ironman events and things like that, there was, you know, for me, I was like, oh, I don't want to do, like, what's the point in doing, you know, lots of Ironman events? Once you've done the distance, it was like all the same. So I did about 4, and that was me done then. I was like, that's enough now. I'm kind of bored of that. So I went over to cycling. Just pure cycling, and I enjoyed that. Lots of races there, and sort of, I don't know if you can class it as semi-pro. I don't think it was classed as semi-pro, but we did race against civilian teams and stuff, so that, oh bugger, so that was interesting. I did enjoy that. That was pretty cool, and again I was pretty good at it. I weren't the best, but I weren't bad. So quite enjoyed that. Yeah, so what else is going on in the chat? Beard Adventure saying, I loved having 15 kilograms because I rigged my webbing up so I could fill the pouch 15 kilograms and just use that, which made the tab a whole lot easier than using a Bergen with the same weight. Yeah. So again, for those non-military, webbing and Bergen, two terminologies used there. Webbing is like belt kit, so it's stuff that goes around your waist, and your Bergen is the big rucksack on your back. So that was they're the two sort of things that Bearded Veteran's talking about there. Basically, we had a lunatic power full screw who thought it was a great idea to make our section do a 2-mile run with a 40-kilogram Bergen, full webbing weapons helmet in the middle of summer. Yeah, but that's like, you know, that's kind of like paramentality, you know, that's one of our tests anyway. So it's kind of the thing, and he probably did it as a bravado thing to try and break people, you know. Because yes, there was stuff like that happened. Not that I condone it, but there was things like that happened. Not perfect. No organisation is perfect by any stretch of the imagination. But yeah, there were some silly people sometimes that did that kind of stuff. We can't condone it, but it was probably amusing at the time, you know. Just trying to go round now on this model and just trying to bring back some of the lighter colour, or sorry, not bring it back as in I want more of it, but bring it back as in tone it down. That's the word I was looking for. Some of it is quite heavy and I'm not liking it. It's just a bit too much. So I'm just trying to tone the lights down a bit. Not always the easiest thing to do, but we shall give it a go. So has anyone else got any funny stories? Things that happened, things that people did see or whatever? If not, I'll carry on with my story. So part of my story, I'll have a swig first. You should have seen this. Bearded Veteran in the chat is saying you should have seen the steam that came off our heads when we took off our helmets. The other section thought we had lost the plot. Yeah, so the good old pressure cooker, the combat helmet that we used to wear or have to wear. I used to call that the pressure cooker because they were so hot. If you were running with them on, yeah, nightmare, absolute nightmare. But yeah. So as I said, went from triathlons to cycling, and really enjoyed that. I found that, you know, I was getting less injuries because I, you know, was in my late 20s at this point, and I found that I was getting less injuries, which was nice, and it was fun, and I was pretty good at it. So I wasn't the best, but I weren't bad either. So I was able to sort of jostle with a fair few different individuals and have a good laugh. So that was what I really enjoyed. Hills was my favourite part. So going up hills, I was really strong on hills. And I remember my mate Roger was always saying to me, I wish I had my, because he cycled a load. He says, I wish I had my cycling knowledge, but your strength of legs in the hills. Because he wasn't as strong on the hills as I was. But I wonder what my friend Roger's doing now. I don't know. You meet all these different people, right, when you're in the military, and you lose contact with them. I suppose that's life, though, in general, isn't it? You meet a lot of people in life and they change jobs or move or whatever. But yeah, so I did that, and I did cycling pretty much until I left the army. Lost a bit of motivation for fitness when I left the army. I won't lie, I went through my own sort of troubles and turmoils, and through the back of that, it was then that I joined a local gym, and to try and get into some sort of shape again, I started some classes, so some spin classes, because I knew how to cycle and I could gain fitness very quickly in that manner. So I started spin classes, which were good. And then after spin classes, it was like body pump and things like that. So I was taking classes that had people motivating me to do something. Because when you're trying to get fit, it's not always easy to, you know, motivate yourself every single time and take yourself into those hard places. So I cheated. I used people to get me to that place, and that was nice. So I quite enjoyed those classes. They sort of got me back into a bit of a passion for fitness again, and that was nice to have that, and I enjoyed it. I got into body pump, and then I started sacking off the cycling because I'd done a lot of it, and I'd done everything that I thought I wanted to do, I was like, oh, this body pump's quite cool. I've never been like a muscular person before. Let's give that a go and see how that goes. So I started body pump and continued to do that, and then I started, should I go into the gym and into the free weights bit? I remember the first ever time I did that, I was proper nervous. And so I can sort of understand if anyone's new to weight training and things like that. You know, I was nervous too once, as was the biggest guy in the gym. The biggest guy in the gym was probably just as nervous as you are before you go there. So don't think you're on your own is my point. Just go there anyway, just do it, get it done, and the chances are if you speak to these, you know, well-defined muscular individuals, be it man or lady, they're probably some of the nicest people I've spoke to. I mean, be aware of the Instagram influencers, if they like to call themselves that. Beware of those types of individuals. Not to say they're all bad. Some of them seem to do some things that I would question. But yeah, got into doing weights and enjoyed doing the weights, and that's kind of what brought me to where I am now, really. I just enjoy doing weights. I can't, you know, I'm nowhere near as cardiovascular fit as I was. I could probably do a fairly good time on a run still, but nothing spectacular, not like I was doing. And I'd be dying at the end of it as well. But, you know, that's okay. I'm happy with that. So what about everyone else's fitness journeys? What's everyone else up to nowadays? What's people doing? Has anyone recently started a fitness journey? No? Drop it in the chat if you have. Let me know if you've got any questions about it. So back to our main topic anyway. That was our kind of little memory lane trip. For me anyway, and a bit of just for you, a bit of knowledge about how I got into fitness. And what sort of started me off. So the other part I wanted to talk about for our main agenda of, you know, finding that space for you to do your hobbying is managing your time for your hobby. I think this is possibly one of the hardest things to do, especially given modern day life and the pace of modern day life being so quick and fast, and, you know, the commitments of work where people want you to work 24 hours a day and never give you a break. You know, managing your time for your hobby is essential. We spoke earlier lightly on, you know, the fact that it's good for mental health. You know, taking yourself out of a harsh environment and giving your brain the moment to chill and relax is really important. You don't want to have to maximize yourself all the time. You want to have a bit of downtime for yourself, and this is perfect, where you can just absorb yourself into a cool little hobby that's, you know, fun to do. Perfect, absolutely perfect. So how to go about maximising your time? Well, I think having your station set up allows you to maximise your time. We spoke earlier about packing things away and it being a pain in the arse when you want to get back out again. Well, if you've got it out and it's ready, it's almost unavoidable. So when you're looking at your model, you're like, still there. Yeah, it's still there. You know, I need to get on with that model. Need to do X, Y, Z with that. It's kind of in your face a little bit, which is helpful to remind you of what you should be doing, need to do. So I would say that's the first thing to help you manage your time. The second thing is actually booking in sessions. So whether that's you live at with a partner or something, or whether you live by yourself, book time in and say to that partner, or say to yourself, right, I am going to do my painting on Wednesdays. Don't ask me to do anything else on a Wednesday, because that's my painting time. And you know, if you've got a partner, you say, well, it's not because I dislike you or anything like that. It's just that I need this for me. And it's not because you're selfish or you're an arse. It's because everyone needs something for them. And if your partner doesn't have something for them, I'd question their sort of path that they're taking right now. Everybody needs something for them. Doesn't matter who you are. So allocate that time, put it in the diary, and make it a thing. Say to yourself, right, every Tuesday, set your alarm on your phone. Every Tuesday, whatever it is, at X o'clock, that's my time. Boomph. You've got your models set out. You've got your place where they are, official place in the household. Sit yourself down and crack on. So ensuring that you use that time very wisely. So how have I, you know, oh, and by the way, when you're using that time, don't sit there and think you need to do 2 hours, 3 hours, 5 hours. 20 minutes is fine. Even if you sit down and do half hour because the models are there and you're like, oh, great, dinner's on the go, I've got nothing else going, there's my models, I'll sit down and I'll crack on. Do that. Get on top of it. You don't need to spend hours and hours and hours and hours. It's just a little bit of time every day helps. So how do you then manage your model painting versus work, fitness, and all the rest of it? Okay, so life is a big sacrifice. What do I mean by that? Well, to achieve anything and to move on and make some kind of success in something, some area, whatever it is, you have to sacrifice something to move forward and get better at that other thing. And that is, I've not found any other way to do that. Not unless you're lucky enough where you don't have much on your plate at all. Generally speaking, people have lots on their plate, and you have to sacrifice to get something going and become good at it. So with the work balance that you've got of, you know, your 9 to 5 plus, you know, you want to keep fit as well, set realistic goals or realistic targets. So don't say, well, I'm going to do 10 hours of painting, I'm going to do 6 training sessions a week, and blah, 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 blah. Start off small, add it to your diary, and see how you go. So start off, right, I'm going to do 3 sessions a week, and they're going to be 20 minutes worth or half hour worth of painting. Great. Okay, you've got that in the diary, you've locked it in. How did that go after week 1? Right, it wasn't too bad, actually. I could do a little bit more of that. Great. Well, why don't you, before you add more to the model making, add in your fitness section, right? Add in your fitness section and start to do half hour of fitness. So it could just be that walk that I'm talking about, getting those steps in, those 10,000 steps. Get those walks in and get yourself outside, right? So you start on walking. Great. So now you've not only got your 3 sessions of model painting per week, you've now incorporated 3 sessions of walking per week. Great. All right. Nice. I've got those 3 sessions in of each. I do that amongst my work. Yes, you will sacrifice other time. Does that mean that you will be able to watch TV and do X, Y, Z and do all of this? No. You are going to have to sacrifice it. I watch hardly any TV. I don't find it that fun, really. There might be a movie that I want to watch, but I don't find the rest of it, you know, like the news and all of that sort of jazz. I don't really watch that. I just don't find it that interesting. I'd much, much, much rather spend my time painting models, seeing friends, doing that kind of thing. That's far more appealing to me. So that's what I sacrifice. I sacrifice things like TV to then fill my time with models or playing Dungeons and Dragons or going to the gym. If you've got a relationship, then yes, you are going to have to sacrifice part of that, but ultimately your partner fell in love with you as you. So whatever you is at the time when they met you, whether that's a gym freak, whether that's a model painter or whatever, you know, that's what they fell in love with. And remind them that. Say, hey, look, you know, you fell in love with me being me. If you then stop me being me, how, you know, what's to say you will stop loving me, and how can I continue to be the person you fell in love with? Well, I can't, because you're stopping me from doing that. And if they're a reasonable individual, they'll 100% understand. And you know, you can then start to sacrifice a little bit of the time, not all of your time. You sacrifice all of your time from your partner, and then you won't have a partner. But if you are reasonable, then, you know, there's no reason why you can't balance it all out. So hopefully that gives you a little bit about how to schedule your time out. So that kind of covers the main agenda for today. What we've got going in the chat. Bearded Veteran is saying, I think that's part of the problem I have. I don't have that competitive nature. I have a more, why bother? It's not like I'm ever going to use the strength, etc. So I may as well work on mine. Yeah, but that's fine. You don't, you know, I'm not saying that you need to go and be strong. Whatever you enjoy, you should do. You know, so for you, Bearded Veteran, it might just be that you want to get in the 10,000 steps just to keep healthy, but you don't do the gym, right? Because it's not of interest to you. But then you know, do your models. That is absolutely 100% perfectly legitimate. And I'd say don't change it. You don't need to. You know, unless there was a desire from you to sit there, and when you're sitting there going, actually, I would like to be a bit fitter, and I would like to be able to do this or that or whatever, then you need to consider how you're going to go and do that. So, you know, but only if you want to. This is only if you want to do this kind of stuff. If having a better body or being physically fitter matters to you, then, you know, then go and do it. If it doesn't, don't worry about it. My way of living is not, you know, the only way to live. It's just a way to live. And, you know, I give recommendations through just life experiences, really. I mean, I'd encourage everyone to try and stay fit to a point. You don't have to have huge muscles and strength if you don't have that competitive drive to get yourself out there, to challenge yourself. And that's why sometimes it's good for a gym buddy, because, you know, say me and you, Bearded Veteran, I'd be like, right, come on, for fuck's sake, let's go. Oh, I just swore. Sorry, YouTube. I'd be like, come on, let's get out, let's go and do something. So I'd like drag you out and we'd go and do a bit of fitness together, right? That would encourage you to go and do something rather than nothing. So yeah, so it's quite nice to have a gym buddy. It's one of the best things you could invest in is a friend that likes to do stuff with you, and that can work with models as well, you know. So if you have like a model buddy, you know, someone that you paint your models with, someone that you do X, Y, Z with, that's actually really powerful. I would 100% recommend that, without a shadow of a doubt. Let's switch our cameras. Let's see. There we go. Let's turn him up. Look at him there. It doesn't look too bad, does he? Looks okay, but he's going to need some of this blend. This is going to need like kind of blending together, which we'll do in a bit, but not on this session. But that's how he's kind of looking at the moment, peeps. He's got bits of white in there. Probably a little bit more white over here needed, actually, that lilac-y colour. But he's looking pretty cool. Yeah, I quite like him. Oh, what's that? Oh, that's that big splodge. Let's get rid of that big splodge. See that big splodge of white there on his neck? Let's get rid of that. We don't want that sticking around, do we? There we go. Got rid of that. Smooth that out. Lovely. Right, what we got in the chat then? Let's see. I think I know why you don't like the light tone on the chest. Where you've put the lighter tone is where there should be shadow when the dragon is upright. Remember, we're lit by the sun, not the floor. Yes. Yeah, I think so. I think you're probably right. Yeah, so it's a bit... I'm not sure. It's a bit different. So I'm not sure whether I will keep it like this or not. I may change some of the elements to the dragon in the downtime. I might just sort of scale the white back a bit. We'll see. Yeah, but it looks okay. It looks okay. I'm just not entirely sure. But that's alright. I might find that I'll test a bit of wash or something over it next week, and it might just dull it down enough to take it off, take the edge off, which would be cool. But yeah. Alrighty, guys. Well, that is now 10 to 9. Should probably start wrapping up, really. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed tonight's session. It's been a pleasure to be back once more. Live for real, not kind of live, but live for real here on Minis-N-Muscles, the home where the brawn meets the brush. Yeah, we carried on painting our dragon ghost. This is kind of how he's looking at the moment. He's still pretty cool, to be fair. I do like him. Need to do his back though. He's got no texture on his back at all just yet. But yeah, I think he looks still pretty cool. I quite like him. There we go, bit of a close up. Yeah. Yeah, it does look alright. Yeah, so he's looking good. Yeah, we spoke about lots of different things. We spoke about today really around your setup. So you can be just, not like me, but you can be doing your minis and you can have an awesome little space set up just for you so that you can, you know, paint to your heart's content. You can enjoy the hobby. You can get stuck in. You can, you know, have a space that's dedicated to you so you can escape from the world, get away and just immerse yourself into this wonderful, wonderful hobby that is miniature painting. The whole gaming side, that's a complete another different side. That's awesome too. But this is so cool. Miniature painting is, it's been a lifesaver for me, and I'm sure it could be a lifesaver for you or for others that you know. Being a veteran in chat is saying it's actually making me want a dragon now. Well, if you do, here's the people. I'm not sponsored by them, so I do not get any money, unfortunately, but it's Dungeons and Lasers. And they have the Ghost Dragon. Okay, so this is the one I'm painting right now. Dungeons and Lasers. I think it's Archon Miniatures is the ultimate parent company of this. Ironically, my local game store started selling these, and I got it at one of the cons, perhaps Dragon Meet, which is a big convention that happens every year for geeks. They talk about D&D and all that sort of tabletop role-playing games, Warhammer and all the rest. But yeah, very cheap. I think I paid £22 for this dragon, which is not a lot considering how big the model is. I don't have another model here to compare it to, but you know, if you're holding this up to a 32mm model, is probably no bigger than up to like his hands, really. So from there to there, so it's quite a big chunky model. That's quite nice. But yeah, definitely worth getting, dude. This is the second dragon from these people I've painted, and I really like it. I think they're proper cool. So I can highly recommend. But apart from that, it has been a pleasure, as I said, to be back live with you guys once more. We're on episode 11, so we're coming close to 20. So that's, well, one step closer to 20. I'm way carried away on myself, but I didn't even think I'd make it past session 5, so that's good. Apologies for the lack of shorts. They are going to come, and as are the tutorial videos on bits and bobs. So the 10-minute tutorials, they will come up as well. I just need to pull my finger out and stop going away so much. Hey, it's work, it's not personal. But I will get them done. But as always, thank you for joining me. I appreciate every single one of you, especially those in the chat as well that are joining in the fun. and just sort of keeping me going throughout the evening so I don't sort of fall asleep. I appreciate every single one of you. Thank you so much. Remember to share with your friends. We've actually gone down in subscribers. How can we go from 79 to 77 or whatever it is? That's super sad. Gutted about that. So share with your friends. Please share with your friends. Tell everyone about the channel. No, I'm not amazing. I'm not terrible either, but I'm not amazing. But please, every view helps. Every subscription helps. It just makes me feel good, and you're doing a good thing by doing it. It doesn't harm anyone by clicking subscribe, right? So share it with your friends, subscribe, turn your notifications on so you don't miss me. I will stick on the link to the link tree for the Discord channel so you can get in there and chat. I thought it was already on there, but I'll get it in there for you. And apart from that, next week we will have another live, and we will continue our Ghost Dragon. I'm going to possibly look at the wings, and we might get to that point. I might have done some little touching up on this in between just to see what happens when I play around with a few bits. So he won't look far too different from what he is now. Aside from that, what's this saying in the chat? £22. Yep, going to order one. Honestly, Bearded Veteran, you won't be disappointed. The resin quality is really good on these as well. They're pretty solid. I very much like them. So yeah, next week we will be back here again, same time next week, next place. See you then soon. All right, enjoy it. Have a wonderful weekend. Fill it with geek stuff. Fill it with model painting. Fill it with friends, family, and fun. All right, and I will see you all very soon. Appreciate you. Take care. See you soon. Bye bye.